So thank you again for coming today. I have at least some simple slides, rather statements here on the presentation. How did I think about the topic? First, I think that we all have been thinking at some point about relationship with things where we have either because of money or just because we have too many things and we didn't know how to prioritize and so on. And to me, it was a personal topic or personal problem I had, and I resolved at some point, and I was thinking a lot about over the past years. Through self-controlling, like completely, I used to control and track everything I was buying. I had an app for it, and I was always like really every tetri I was like writing down, to the point of today, when a year ago I got very inspired by the approach of Marie Kondo. If you know her, I'll speak about her later and her book, because the topic it's a lot about the awareness of what we have. And a year ago, I just went through everything I have at home. I got rid of. I will cover this shortly, but I got rid of everything that didn't bring me joy, and I got much more aware of what I have and what takes away my energy. And since then, I'm not really like cleaning, because I am very aware of what I have, and I take care of it, like at in certain way. I will share it later, and I will speak about this. Okay, so first I wanted to start with like different approaches how we can think of what we have, and how I used to at least think of it. So this is like what came to my mind when I was creating a mind map for the presentation. So mind map is a great way, by the way, how to actually really cover everything that comes to your mind, because it's like reflecting more how your brain works. So you just go through the topics and you broaden them, not like bullet points, but really rather like a map. And so I remembered that first, I think that my first thoughts related to what I possess was related to money when I was a student, and I had a very limited budget, so I was thinking like, oh, what I want to buy, right? But actually it was really just about, I was thinking just what I can afford for myself, and I was a lot saving on myself, because, but I was buying oftentimes just things as a sort of fulfillment, emotional fulfillment of some emptiness inside. I wanted to, I thought that it would make me happy, but it never really made me happy. So it was a lot orientation on just like, I want to possess something, I want to have something, but I cannot afford it. And I think that there's a lot of freedom when you do not have, and when you do not have this excessive need, excessive interest into actually anything, but when you are free to buy it if you want to, especially like with money, you can just buy the thing, but you don't have to. I think the similar perspective is like, I'm very location independent, and I know that I can be anytime at the seaside. And so when I see the seaside now, I don't rush into it. I don't have this urge. And this is like for everything in life. So when we are so much controlling ourselves, so that we do not allow ourselves to actually have something, the more likely we have this urge to go and rush to it when we stop controlling ourselves. And so with things, I think it's the same. I know that I can buy more things because I make more money than I used to when I was a student. The more likely I know, like, I don't have to. I already got what I want. I constantly make myself happy. I think of what really makes me happy, what I really want. And I allow myself, I give myself these things. Because, you know, like, I'm young, and why would I control myself as if I was, as if actually, you know, no one, because I think that it's very trendy to think like, oh, we should control ourselves so much, we should not allow ourselves anything, and we would be too spoiled. But come on, the life is too short. So instead of this over-controlled mindset, when we allow ourselves to actually just get what we want, when we think first what we want, when we allow this to ourselves, we just make ourselves happy. and it serves everyone, because then we're much more in peace with ourselves. So, as I mentioned, I used to control myself from the money perspective a lot. I was really like tracking everything, but in fact, I just had many things, oftentimes like secondhand stuff and so on. It didn't really make me happy, but I felt like I can afford this to myself. So first, at some point when I started making money, I had to maybe, like make myself understand it. Oh, I can afford this to myself, I can buy this. But it didn't really make me happy. I had maybe too many things for not so much money. And but yeah, it didn't bring me joy. It didn't make me happier when I just bought another, like whatever secondhand coat or something. But I was like, oh, I have something more. But it's not increasing your happiness. And I observed this perspective. It's very interesting to see in the developing countries, because when you look at the developing countries, so people might have lower salaries, like here or Thailand, Vietnam, whatever. They make $350, $400 a month. That's not much. But when you look into their house, they're full with things. And so, wonder, like, is really money and how much we have, isn't it like rather self-assurance that, oh, at least I can afford myself this thing? So people who are not making that much are actually buying things that they do not really need, that they don't really bring joy, but just rather it surrounds you so that you would have the self-assurance because you're not sure about this. Instead of focusing on making more, you make the same, but you surround yourself with things. My presentation is not supposed to be telling you what you should do or not, whatever. It's more about thought-provoking. So, yeah. Okay, another perspective. Also one more thing. Yeah, but hi, I can see here. One more related perspective is this, like, saving on ourselves. So actually, okay, I don't have that much money, I will just buy something cheaper. Like, whom does it make happy? Whom you will make happy if you will be like, I'll buy some cheaper thing. It depends on like what you really need. But I think that we live today in the age and society where we buy more things than we really need, because what are really our needs. So if you buy yourself non-quality thing that won't make you happy and that will make you frustrated, like some cheap t-shirt that you will once wash and you will be already like, oh, I don't feel good in it. How do you feel in this thing? Whom you make happy so that you saved on yourself $1? Because the price difference is often not that much. Maybe I have a better example with renting out apartments, because I travel around 6 months of the year from the year, and outside the country, or even here I travel a lot, but like I travel in general a lot. So I rent out a lot of flats. And I observed one thing. At first I was thinking, I'm just traveling and I'm not spending that much time home, so I don't have to buy some expensive flat. I'm already older, so I don't want to buy, I don't want to stay in hostel in a shared room, because I just prefer my privacy and so on. But still, I was like renting out spaces where I would be alone, but yet I was like saving on myself, so that I thought that it's not important. But in reality, if I spend sometimes really even like $5-10 more per night, which is not that much, come on, and I can make in how many minutes? But the fact that I wake up in the morning in a light space, this makes my day. And it makes myself to feel much better, to act much better, to be much nicer, and so on. So sometimes all this like, oh, maybe I don't have to buy myself something more expensive. I don't say you have to buy some super labeled thing. It's up to you completely. There's no one who's supposed to judge this. There's no one who's right, who says what you should buy, what you shouldn't buy, what is too much, what is too little. It's completely up to you, and it's totally fine if you feel like buying something like more expensive or so, because in reality, often the difference is not much more, but it will make you feel much better. And based on really, I don't know, a lot of experience, it's really much worth it to really reflect on how you feel. You're doing it really for yourself, not for others. And at the same time, maybe another extreme is to the contrary, when you buy something too expensive to impress others. You know, you don't really impress anyone. I really like the saying of Naval Ravikant, a very simple thought. So guys are buying expensive cars or renting out expensive cars with the idea so that they will impress women, right? But in reality, you know, me as a woman, I don't give a damn about car. I'm like, oh, big car, you know, like nice, okay. Oh, it's safe. How do I feel in it? But I don't care whether the car costs, you know, how much, and whether it's whatever red or some super, I don't know, strong car, because I don't understand this. I can only say, oh, this looks nice. It doesn't look nice. I can only say, I feel safe. I don't feel safe in it, and that's it. This is how I perceive cars. So if man wants to rent out an expensive car to impress a woman, well, man, it's not really how it works. If you will just if you will do it. But Naval Ravikant says that the only people who you will impress with an expensive car as a guy is other guys, because other guys are I mean, this is a very general, of course. But mostly just guys are more into cars and more interested into really saying like, wow, admiring some other strong cars. So this is exactly the thing. In the end, you make the world the best service if you make yourself happy, if you do it really for yourself, if it, you know, like feeds your or makes happy your, let's call it like inner child, whatever. Because that way, this is how you will go into the world. You'll be like, I'm so happy. And this impression is the only that really makes a difference in the end in the interaction with other people as well. Okay, another perspective. Over controlling ourselves, I was already mentioning this, from this money perspective. So let's say that you will be thinking like, okay, I will only have a budget of $50 a month to buy something for myself and so on. It makes sense, of course, like from financial planning and etc. You shouldn't, I think that a very healthy balance is somewhere between the inner, what sort of like your inner child wants. Like if you imagine yourself, if you were, when you were little or whatever, when you were emotional and so on, but at the same time, just topping this up with the adult part of yourself, the responsible self, when you're like, okay, like this makes sense to me. But the problem is that oftentimes we are just too serious and too adult in a way that we buy ourselves only practical things that make sense. I think it's fine sometimes not to buy something that doesn't make sense at first, but it really makes you happy. Yeah, so all this is really about more really self-awareness of what makes you happy, what you really want, and so on. And this controlling mindset, it's actually like constantly holding yourself, mistrusting yourself, and saying, oh, I have to control yourself because what if you bought something that wouldn't make sense? So it's like going against yourself, like self-sabotage, self-betrayal, sort of. Like, I don't trust myself, I have to control myself that much that, you know, so that I wouldn't spend money on some bullshit. But you already are grown up. This controlling self, it comes oftentimes from the adult people who were around us when we were young. And it makes sense, it's part of all of us. But if you have too much of this controlling self, you can turn it off. It doesn't have to be online 24/7. Okay, being humble. My grandfather is a very smart person who has a few patents and is very active. He's also very humble and he loves to be humble. It's sort of like a victimist face, like, look how much I'm not allowing to myself. What do you think that such a person will wish to you? So that you would also not allow yourself anything. When I told him that I invited myself to a massage on a Valentine's Day because I wanted to make myself happy, and to a nice dinner, I went alone. So he was like, oh, you're so spoiled. And I was like, no, I'm happy. You know, I'm adult. I can do these things. I don't have to be humble because other people are humble. Why I'm mentioning this, it's because it's possible that you also have someone who's humble around yourself, and these people actually tear you down. They don't do it consciously maybe, but they do it. Because you're like, oh, you allowed yourself to buy something more expensive? Oh, don't you, again, like, aren't you spoiled? Don't you allow yourself too much? No. You don't need this confirmation from the outside. You're alright the way you are, and what you want is okay. It's you. And the problem about this humbleness, it's that it's not virtue. So a few perspectives on humbleness. First, it's a shame. It's like they hand over the people who are humble, other people who are humble, and maybe you are humble. And you tell other people, oh, you bought yourself another dress? Who are you to say it? It's about putting shame, a feeling of shame, on another people. It's like handing over shame. But it doesn't make sense, like as if people should be shameful or feeling ashamed for allowing themselves something, to making themselves happy. It doesn't make any sense. No sense. This shame, it's like, what is it? What is behind, you know, being humble? I think that there's a lot of fear. So that, oh, what if I grow? What if I allow myself to look better? There's so much uncertainty. So there might be fear of, oh, you know, new world, new people, and so on, who might be approaching you and so on. It's a lot of uncertainty. It means that you would maybe, you know, look better, and it will change your surrounding, your appearance, and so on. And or also, you know, it can be just stepping forward, just really crossing the threshold, and so on. There's a lot of fear. It changes you. It makes you different. If you increase your income, so you will have different opportunities. But it doesn't mean that you still constantly have to increase how much you spend. No. The idea is rather like that you can allow this to yourself, and you can trust yourself. But if you'll be like holding yourself back, like, oh, no, I'm humble, it's actually you who hold yourself back, and instead of you okay? And instead of going for it and fulfilling the potential that is there, you're like, no, I'm humble, and you hold yourself back, and you say that you're humble, but actually you're just afraid. It's okay to be afraid. But there's a lot of like feeling of shame. It can be possibly connected also to the positive mentality, because like if you would have more, other people could be jealous, and they could mistreat you or do something to you because as if it was unfair. So rather hold yourself back, be silent, don't stand out, and so on. It's also possible. That's another fear. Yeah, because very related thing to it. If you are more popular, if more people know about you, the more people will hate you. This is just how it works, and you have to be ready for it. So, are you ready to stand out? For example, if you are rising and so on. So yeah. Judgment of others. This is what I just mentioned. Yeah, if it's a virtue, not really. But it sounds cool, of course. Like when you say I'm humble, I prefer, instead of being humble, I'm kind. I value people, I value their effort, I value their work. I'm kind, but I don't say anymore that I'm humble, because it's really about holding myself back, actually. And one more fear related to it is that I was afraid to express what I want, as if it was shameful. And so I was like, oh, humble, you know? Oh, no, it's okay, I can get a tap water. Of course I can get a tap water, but come on, like, I can afford myself for $3 to buy a normal water, right?
You're just talking about me. I drink tap water right now.
Oh, it's okay, you know, like, I drink tap water at home as well, but
I'm joking.
I was,
tap water too.
yeah, I was with one guy in a restaurant just recently, really, and I was like, oh, it's okay, I can get a tap water. And he was like telling me, oh, please, come on, just get her a normal water, okay? Like, it's nothing. And this was a great reflection to myself, how much all this like, oh, you know, I'm a humble girl. Whom does it serve? No one. Like, does it make me look better? No. It's like, come on, just you can afford to yourself to treat yourself well, it's fine. Okay, so another perspective, I think it's the last one that I used to think of, it's being practical. As I mentioned, I travel a lot. My last trip was like for 2 months. I usually pack my luggage, leave one way, I don't have a return ticket, and I just return when I feel like it. This is like, I don't really like planning it much and so on. It increases a trust into myself so that I can actually, you know, be sane enough to just do as I feel like and to travel as I feel like. And so I thought that I have to be practical for traveling. It makes sense. It's very useful if you have only a carry-on luggage. I think yeah, this is my carry-on luggage. What I do is that I usually wear, like, I have some one skirt, one jeans, one shorts. It depends on where I travel, of course. And then I have like 5 or 7 or maybe more of the same, completely the same Muji white t-shirts. It's brilliant because in the morning you wake up and you just wear t-shirt, skirt or jeans. Oh, jeans today, you know? That's it. It's like very, very nice perspective. It's more of a minimalistic mindset, of course, but it's very useful. Like, for example, dresses are not useful because dresses are one piece, and if you get sweaty or whatever, you cannot change them. So this combination of different things is good. Also, it's good to take something that you feel nice at, that you can present in, and so on. So this is really my luggage. It's a carry-on luggage that last year I spent with some more than 3 months of traveling in Asia. I could surely have less. There are many backpackers who are even like more practical people, but at the same time I think it's really good to have some balance between like in what you feel good and what is practical. So this is again like a lot of, sometimes we can get really too practical and too over controlling ourselves again, but especially when you travel a lot alone for a long time, it's very nice if you have little things that really bring you joy. It's very cool, like it makes your day when you just wear something that you really like and so on. Overall, I have only things that bring me joy, that I feel good at and so on. So this is very, very important. There's nothing bad really about like being practical and packing like this. It's very useful, and I still had the luggage like this, which was like half empty. So I bought a lot of things, but like gifts for other people when I was coming back. And yeah, it's just great. But do you have to limit yourself? I mean, I used to limit myself a lot in this perspective. Do you have to limit yourself like 100% too much? I don't think so. What is good is, as I mentioned, like this minimalistic perspective. So in the morning, you do not have to put too much energy into making a decision like, oh, what should I wear, and so on. So it really, it lowers your energy effort into what you want to wear in the morning. So instead of wasting too much energy on making the decision, you just grab the thing. It's just very easy. It's very straightforward, and really from the energy management sort of, it's really very useful. Okay, an alternative strategy. There's this lady called Marie Kondo. He has a book which is called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. The lady is brilliant in tidying up. She's not a good author. It was a very it was a serious pain for me to read it. But you can skip a lot of parts in the book, but it's really life-changing, and there are very interesting perspectives I will speak about today. Have anyone read it? I think that she also has some series on Netflix or something like that, but I'm not watching Netflix, so I cannot say. But it's very interesting. It's a short book, but really it was just the way it's written. It's like, I don't know. It's really just, it's okay. Like, she's not an author, simply, like, or she wrote a few books, but she's like not a writer, I would say, rather. So, okay, some principles. Actually, the whole idea of the book is really just to be aware, like seriously aware of what we have. But not only what we have, like things, but also what we surround ourselves with. So, her technique, really, you don't have, after this presentation, you don't have to read the book anymore. Congratulations. So, go to your home, get out everything you have in your wardrobes everywhere, and take every single thing, everything, take with both hands, you know, like really like this. Try this with something you have right now. How do you feel? You're very aware of how you feel about this thing. Does it bring you joy? So her only technique is this idea, take really like get why to bring everything at once outside. Because at that moment you'll be aware of how many things you have. Because the thing is now you have wardrobes and you know you have piles of clothing and at the washing machine and so on. Put everything outside and you'll see how many things you actually have. And now go through everything you have, take it and ask yourself, does it bring me joy? And joy, what is it? Is this when you're like, oh, I like wearing this thing, I like wearing this t-shirt, you know how you feel in it. And then there are also some things when you have a t-shirt which has maybe some, some pieces of wine and some whatever, you already have the t-shirt for 10 years and you're like, it will still be good for the garden and so on. And you know that you wear it, you take it with your hands and you feel, for example, shame. And you're like, oh, I cannot wear this. Why do you keep it? Because it's something that surrounds you, and every time you see it in the wardrobe, it makes you feel ashamed. You don't want to wear it. You still keep it there like, it will be useful, it will be practical. I was talking about being practical. It's okay, it makes sense. But at the same time, this is a thing that you voluntarily keep at home, that you surround yourself with, and it makes you feel ashamed. Please, get rid of it. And it's a lot, all this technique is a lot about decision making, about saying, I don't want to surround myself with that doesn't make me like good. It's very, 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 very simple. And I thought that I don't have that many things, but while I was really going through everything I have at home, I found that I have some boxes from a blender and some other things. It's like, why do I really have it home? You don't need these things. Just really throw it away, and it's very, very freeing. It's really why is it really life-changing? Because it's a one-time action. It's like a whole process that you have to do at once, not postponing it for another week and so on, but just really do all this at once, because then you will be very aware of what you have, and you will never be willing to go back. Because at that moment you will really appear in your home and you'll be like, wow, I'm really surrounded with everything that makes me feel good. It's very simple. It's just about this awareness and decision making, so that you want to surround yourself with things that make you feel good. Because otherwise, why would you voluntarily surround yourself with something that makes you feel really ashamed, that doesn't make you feel good? Oh, another great example is for example, the clothing that you think that you will one day grow up into, or you will lose weight one day and so on. It's the same example. You take that, you see that every time you go into your wardrobe and you see this thing, it makes you feel ashamed so that you haven't lost the weight yet. Don't keep it. It's okay to, you can gift it, it will serve someone. Really, there are so many places where you can gift clothing, gift it, get rid of it. But don't keep it around yourself. As I already mentioned, really put outside everything so that you would be aware of how many things you have. And apply this for life. Think now, how's the job, what you are doing? People that surround you, Do they make you feel ashamed or scared? How do you feel? Can you feel like yourself? Or are you adjusting yourself so that you would fit them? Yeah. It's really worth to be surrounded with people and things that make you happy. Yeah, keep what brings you joy. The energy drink. This is something I realized when I really got rid of all these like things that didn't bring me joy. It was not many things because I relocated into the country with like one suitcase only and a bigger one, but still like I didn't have that many things here. But still I had many things that I actually gave away. And I realized when I really made my space much more arranged, and also part of her technique is that not folding things in a way like this as in the shops, but actually like this as I had in the suitcase. So when you have it like this, you are very aware of what you have there. And so when I enter my wardrobe and my shelf, I can see exactly all the t-shirts, all the dresses I have there. And I never, put something out and then back and so on. No, it's already like this and I know exactly what I take. I invest much less energy into choosing what I wear and what I want. And I'm very aware of what I have. Constantly. And another energy drain, it's when you surround yourself with something that really makes you feel ashamed or that you don't like. So I think that I had some t-shirt with some strains from wine or something, red wine. And I had it home, I kept it home. I couldn't wash it for the second time. I was like, oh yeah, but I want to throw it away. It was just a few weeks ago. And at that moment I was just thinking, and I folded it into the wardrobe. I did this, yeah? And then I put it outside and I looked at it, I was like, oh, I cannot wear this outside. I wanted to wear it. I forgot that there's this, wine strains. And I was like thinking again about this. Like, why do I keep it? Because it was such an energy drain. I had a good mood. I took this t-shirt out and I saw, oh, it wouldn't look good. Why do you spoil your mood, how you feel, by surrounding yourself with things that make you feel like this? It's an energy drain when you feel that you have things, especially when you have many things around yourself. So you see how much it's there, and everything that surrounds you takes away your energy. Like at some point, or it sort of like interacts with you. So if these things are something that make you feel like, oh, I cannot wear it, or I don't look too good, or I don't feel too good in this, don't keep this. And especially people again. Yeah, how things make us feel, how everything makes us feel. I think it was last time we used to one of the people who used to attend our events is a therapist who now he relocated to the seaside for summer, sadly. But last time we covered a very nice dilemma, or very quickly, and it was like, should I be myself or should I adjust myself to other people? And it was like, of course be yourself, because otherwise people will accept you the way you're not. In the long term, you make no one happy. And this is like related to this partly, because that means we often surround ourselves with people whom, with whom we do not feel really ourselves. We cannot express ourselves. We cannot be, we cannot say, oh, I don't feel good about this. I don't agree with you, and so on, because we are ashamed or we're afraid. It's okay, it's normal, whatever. But we do not express ourselves. And so if you cannot express yourself, you limit yourself. It doesn't go anywhere. It stays in you, this anger that you haven't, this rage you haven't expressed. And it's not good, because it doesn't make you feel good. And so do you want to surround yourself with these people? The same is like the environment that you live in, like again, with the flat and so on. I think one of the best things I did when I relocated here is it was like, I had some budget, but in the end I opted in for a slightly more expensive apartment. But every single day I'm so grateful for being there, because it's spacious, it's light, it really makes my day, every single day. It's like a very little effort, very little extra investment that really makes myself happy. It makes my day happier. And with all these things and all these people, it's the same thing. Like, I opt in. The fear behind like leaving things is that there will be some empty space. But it's okay. Nothing new can enter your life unless there's this empty space. If you opt into being yourself, expressing yourself the way you are, and saying what you want, what you like, then you will surround yourself with things that you like. Yeah, folding. I mentioned already this, so yeah, this is like I folded even into my suitcase, but my wardrobe my shelves look the same. So I have like t-shirts, it's like folded. I didn't take anything with me, but it's like you can just, if you will search for Marie Kondo, so she has some folding like tutorial, and you can find how you can fold things. But rather, again, like this is not a guidance on how you should live, but it's rather thought-provoking to be more aware of what you have, to really see what you already have, and it really wastes less of my energy. Decision making. Oh yeah, this is I think, yes, okay. This is very related to what I already mentioned. So you actually really put the decision so that I want to surround myself with things, people, everything that brings me joy, that makes me happy, and I want to also get rid of what doesn't. It's very simple, but it's very connected also to your daily actions. So when I come back home, I'm very aware of my things, and one of the techniques of hers, what she suggests is like really to create a space. Decision making, okay? Everything at your home should have its space. So if you have keys, they should have their space. If you have a bag, it should have its space. And inside the bag, I have some other things. No, I have passport. They should have their space. So when I come home, I take out everything that I have, my headphones, my wallet, everything, and I put it at its space. Everything has its space. I make this decision, and on the next day or next time I decide to leave my home, so I take maybe another bag, and I don't have to search. This is another thing related to the energy. I don't search for things anymore, because I made a conscious decision so that everything in my flat has a space. I know where is it. I am very aware of what I have, of how many things I have, and because I went through everything I have, I arranged it, and I can see it, and I'm not searching for things anymore. No more energy wasted, no more time wasted for, oh, where's my dress? No, I know where is it. I know where's everything. And when I pack my bag, I thought at first so that it will, waste more time. So when I come back, I usually wash my shoes. I take off everything from my bags and so on, and I arrange it to their place. And I thought that, this process might take like 3-5 minutes, but in reality, it doesn't take away my time, because I don't waste my time on searching things. And second, I'm very aware of things I have, and I'm very aware of what I take with myself. So I remember when I was at a high school, I used to have a big bag with many things, like open, I would say random woman bag, and it's a very normal story. I used to have their napkins and makeup and everything. No, I have this bag where I only have the necessary things, because I make a conscious decision every single day of what I want to put in, and I only take the most necessary. It's really a lot about, also to me, it's also the respect to things of what I have. Yeah, it's this daily flow. It's really a daily process. And this is why I mentioned at the beginning, so that I'm not cleaning anymore. What I do once a week, I wash the floor and, like the bathroom, but that's it. Because I come home, and I clean those things, I put them on their place. Why you have a messy flat? Because you haven't made a decision of where your things belong. Yeah, and she also says that oftentimes when she was like, she helped to clean flats of many of her clients, and she says like that oftentimes people have this urge to, oh, okay, I will get rid of all the things that I don't want to, and I will also get rid of things of my sister and so on. No, it's not your business. Take care of your space. It's with everything, you know. I think it's more when we are unsure about ourselves, about our decision. So we have this sort of urge to like not teach, but rather really like lecture to change mind of other people. No, it's not your business. If we really mind our business, if you surround yourself with really what you like and so on, it's much more interesting to other people. It's much more inspirational than if you come and say it's not really working even for kids, you know, we have to control them and no. You don't have to manipulate anyone to make decision about their things. Yeah, if they ask for guidance, sure, like you can share your guidance, whatever, or your thoughts or what you've learned, but not really to say, oh, I've learned this and now you have to do this as well. No, it's just don't do this. Yeah. Final thoughts. Final thoughts are rather questions for yourself. So I would love you to be more aware of what you surround yourself with. I would love you to feel more aware of how do these things, people, activities you do, how do they make you feel? Or as I say to my mentees, think of the activities when you are harming yourself. And think of what you're doing and what you have around, if it brings you joy. And that's it. Thank you.